Marvel has recently announced that Thor will no longer be the Thor that we've come to know over the decades. Thor will now be a woman. And I was a little confused by this because I thought Thor was a personal name and not a title.
Here's the thing. It's my understanding, we had a big debate about this at the office yesterday. I think it's both. He is named Thor, but he's also Thor, God of Thunder. And so that the name Thor, I think, is somehow appended to that God of Thunder title and power set in this instance.
So what they had said was Thor is the person who, well, they said he, but let's amend that to she now, who can wield Mjolnir. And now that the Thor that we had known before is no longer worthy for some reason, and this new person is stepping up to fill the role, which makes me curious about what happened to the old Thor.
Well, I think that's something we're going to find out in the weeks to come. I mean, writer Jason Aaron has been absolutely crushing it on the series, so if there's anyone who can craft a compelling tale as to how the Thor we've come to know and love, this big hulking Nordic dude, comes to be no longer worthy to wield Mjolnir, and this newcomer who we don't know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Valkyrie? Is it going to be Angela? We'll find out.
See, I was thinking Valkyrie.
Yeah, I mean,
because like it's not that far of a leap.
Exactly. She's already, she's essentially done an internship for being the God of Thunder.
Yeah. But Jason Aaron went, he specifically said, this is not She-Thor, this is not Lady Thor, this is not Thorita, this is Thor. This is the Thor of the Marvel Universe. But it's unlike any Thor we've ever seen before. Poetry. It just confuses me a lot, though. Like, I'm not opposed to this. I'm just a little thrown off.
Yeah, I mean, in a certain capacity, Marvel and DC both have a tendency to do this with a lot of their characters, really shake up their core characters and pull something, really change the status quo. But with comics continuity being the way it is, it ebbs and flows like the tides. One thing Thor might be a woman today, but who knows what he or she will be tomorrow, because it's a very malleable timeline. For example, Captain America back in Civil War was murdered. He died. Then Bucky Barnes took over as Captain America for about a year or so. They're making a big announcement about Captain America tonight presumably Captain America tonight on Colbert Report.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw the press release and no details.
My guess is it's going to be Sam Wilson calling it right now.
Yeah.
The Falcon. So.
Yeah, a lot of people have thought about that before. I mean, it's not a crazy choice, and also for the theatrical world, not a crazy move either.
No, and the other thing about sort of getting back to what the purpose of this move is, I think it's first and foremost to sell comic books, because something like this really, gets people talking, gets people wondering, like, oh, maybe they've lapsed for a while. They might be a lapsed reader. They might be into the movies, but they might not be keeping up with monthly issues. This offers them a new jumping-on point, a brand new Thor #1, brand new storyline. They're going to try to see what the hype is about. And I think that this is going to be the case. They're going to keep it this way for at least a year. That's typically the amount of time they'll let really huge dramatic shifts in major characters like this play out. If it turns out to be really successful, they'll keep it going longer. But if not, then they might retcon it back to, maybe she will step down and just become, I don't need to be Thor, I'm Valkyrie. Or Thor will do something to prove himself even worthier.
That's true. We forget how malleable comics are, and we always feel like, no, this change is bad. But they change so much over the years.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, nerds, I love you guys, but we do not do well with change.
We don't like change.
And I used to be one of those people where I was like, I can't believe they're doing this to my favorite characters. Like, how dare they mess with the source material? This is sacred. But I think it's much better. Who knows? It might be a great story. It might be like the best Thor storyline we've had in years. So why not be excited? Why not give it a chance?
And you have to think that the source material that is so sacred was all written in the 60s, where they were targeted directly at boys, and all the heroes are white, affluent men, and it's time to backpedal a little bit on that, and maybe Spider-Man could be black for a while, maybe Thor could be a woman for a little while.
It will ruin the character.
And, I mean, when you talk about
that's not how I feel.
When you talk about the sanctity of these characters, remember the transformation that Batman has gone through since, he used to be this goofy, crazy guy that, did stuff with Superman and Super Dickory and, Adam West, and all of a sudden Jimmy Olsen is Superman's son, and that didn't it didn't make sense, and it didn't have to be so rigid as it seems to be today.
Dick Grayson took over the cowl for a while too, and you just mentioned Captain America. It happens quite a bit.
Lots of people have wielded Thor's hammer before, and
exactly.
Thor has been unworthy several times before, so this is nothing new.
Several ladies have wielded Thor's hammer before. In the Earth X miniseries, Thor was a woman. Storm,
Wonder Woman for some reason.
I think Rogue even wielded it at one point. So it's, Thor's been many things. Thor's been a lady. Thor has been DC Comics characters. Thor has been a frog. Remember that? He was a little frog for a time.
That's a little bit more drastic than being a woman.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's, well, Loki was a horse at one point.
Loki was a horse and a lady.
Loki was also
gave birth
a lady.
to a horse baby.
Yeah.
So he was a lady horse.
Lady horse.
Now, where's that movie?
Yeah, where's grandchild horse?
I think if anybody's got the chops, it's Tom Hiddleston to play a female pregnant horse.
Yeah, we'll get Andy Serkis in there to coach him on how to do it.
A female pregnant horse.
Marvel Phase 4 exclusive. You heard it here first.
I have to wonder, though. I've talked before about why isn't there a Wonder Woman movie? There's a Thor movie. There's 2 Thor movies, and they have very vast similarities as in the mythology, being this warrior, regal child of a god, and all this. And I was like, this could happen for these reasons, and you could do it this way. This sort of feels like it might be a bit of a middle finger over to that notion. Or am I reading too far into this?
I don't know. I think that I think this is almost like a half measure trying to appease people wanting stronger female characters to be brought to the forefront of the Marvel Universe. Because I think if Marvel was really going to put their money where their mouth is, they would have announced a female-fronted superhero film without having 12 other films come before it.
Chris Hemsworth.
And maybe this is just sort of testing the waters. I mean, it's difficult to make a new character and have it stick. So maybe if you make Valkyrie Thor and everyone accepts that, then you back her off back into Valkyrie, and now she's an A-lister.
Yeah, I mean, but it also, at the same time, they have so many female characters. I mean, Black Widow, where's her? Just make a spy thriller with her. Like, we finally got to see her in Captain America the Winter Soldier, and she was so great.
She was awesome. She was not a sidekick.
Yeah,
she was fully realized, and I really liked it.
Yeah, they have other badass characters like She-Hulk, who they make like a great part lawyer drama, part superhero ass-kickery. They have Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel. I'm not sure. I think Captain Marvel. Whether it's Kamala Khan or whether it's going to be Carol Danvers, I think you could make a really fantastic movie, and that would tie in with Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole cosmic universe thing. Come on. But to your point about Wonder Woman, honestly, I have no idea what DC's doing. I don't think they trust in any of their characters that are not Batman, and that has really hamstrung them. Marvel is making them look foolish at this point, at the box office at least.
We've talked about this at length, about these deferring strategies. And it seems like this strategy might be leading on to maybe something bigger in the cinematic universe, or at least you guys seem to think so.
I'm hoping, because there's still a slot open in their Phase 3 plans, because we're going to get Captain America 3.
That's not sexist, right? The slot being open?
No, I hope not. I hope not, or else I'm going to get some angry Tumblr reblogs.
I was not thinking about that until now, Tim.
Yes, consider my privilege checked. They have a space available on their filmic slate.
Tim.
I hope that's not an Urban Dictionary. They have a space available for an as yet unannounced film for Phase 3. I'm hoping with all of my heart that it is going to be a female-fronted film.
I mean, it could happen. They have it there.
It's time. We're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready.
We sat through 12 other ones. Give us a female.
Thanks, white guys.
Yeah.
What do you think of the female Thor coming into our comics and maybe our movies and maybe beyond? Let us know what you think below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe.